Well, everyone, the iPhone 11 Pro is one of those types of iPhones that came out a couple of years ago, back in 2019, and this was one of my most favorite iPhones of all time. So let's go and see how this iPhone holds up in the later part of 2024, and let's see if it's even worth buying. Now, number one, what I would recommend doing is that if you have the capability in the world, I would recommend going through and essentially buying one of the more iPhones that you can basically buy. But the 11 Pro on the outside still looks very, very good. This iPhone is still basically giving you a very solid display, 5.8-inch dynamic, 5.8-inch Super Retina XDR OLED display, and it's a very good looking panel, right? I think this is a very good type of device. If you're going to go through and pick up a device, I think this thing still looks pretty good. You're getting curved sides on the side of it. You're getting the lightning port at the bottom, which is a little bit outdated. Frosted glass back on the back side with a triple camera setup and wireless charging, and overall a good looking phone. But some things you're missing out on this phone that we basically had for a couple of years now on some other generation of devices. There's no dynamic island on this phone. There's no USB-C. There's no MagSafe capability. No high refresh rate. So for a Pro model, this thing still looks good, and no flat sides either, so this phone does look a little bit outdated, but it's not even that bad, and it still feels like a very premium phone, which is something I love seeing for these particular devices. So, in my personal opinion, I think this phone still looks pretty good. We did end up getting iOS 18 though. Now, iOS 18 is a very interesting version of software, because this is one of those versions of software that brought a lot of stuff to the table. Now, this phone obviously did not get any Apple Intelligence features, but I will still say for a lot of people, this is one of those types of softwares that still look pretty good, right? It's been performing on this iPhone fairly well since I installed it. And although it's not perfect, I think for the most part, if you're going to go through and install a version of software on your phone, this thing is still up there with some of the better versions of software out there. So I think that in and of itself is a very cool thing to have. Like being able to buy a phone like this that still performs at these levels, I think is still a very nice thing to have. So that is still very good. And we just got the iPhone 16s that just came out. Right? Now, a big thing you're going to have to keep in mind with the iPhone 16s is that these particular devices are going to be overall better than the iPhone 11 Pros. I think that's a given. I think you'd probably expect that, as of this point. But I think a very big thing to keep in mind here too is that if you are going to go through and pick up something like an iPhone 16, when I compare my 16 or 16 Pro against my iPhone 11 Pro, there are obvious things where the iPhone 11 Pro just isn't that great at. But for the amount of money that you're spending for this 5-year-old phone, and for how much it still kind of competes okay against the iPhone 16s, it's actually quite surprising, right? Like, you can look back at those comparisons I did. I'm probably going to do a camera comparison very soon with my 11 Pro and 16 Pro, and I'll probably come to find that, yes, the 16 Pros are better in almost every single way, but if the 16 Pro is like a 10 out of 10, I genuinely feel like the iPhone 11 Pro would be like a 7.5 or like a 7 out of 10. It's not super bad. It's not like it's a 0 out of 10. It still holds up well when it comes down to that price tag and for how old this phone is. So I say that all to say, when I look at my iPhone 11 Pro, there are obvious things with this phone that don't hold up the best. Things like, the battery life anymore, or like maybe the camera quality and the performance here and there and the refresh rate and stuff like that. But I still look at a phone like the iPhone 11 Pro as still being a very good value per dollar device. If you want to, I would not only recommend buying it, but if you can, I would go for the 11 Pro Max. But if you can, I would recommend going for the iPhone 12s or iPhone 13s or those types of devices. But either way, this is still a very killer device in a lot of different ways. If you have any other thoughts or questions, please let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.